We'll talk about what's happening across the country, locally, globally, in terms of innovations and what we can learn for the future of NRLM as we have been talking about NRLM 2.0 since the morning. So I'm very pleased to invite, and again in no particular order, Mr. Raman Wadhwa, who is the Deputy Director at Ministry of Rural Development, to come on stage and take his seat. I also invite Devaki Singh, who is Program Manager for Asia at CoImpact, Mr. Anirban Ghosh, who is Co-Founder at TRIF, and Dr. Sudha Kothari, Founder and Managing Trustee of Chaitanya. Such a diverse panel with that they'll bring perspectives from government, philanthropy, grassroots organizations, and someone who has worked for years in the field. So let's start with innovations itself. And I know we are running a little behind on the schedule, so I'll probably try to club questions together so that we are brief, but also share quite an interesting conversation. So, yeah, Raman sir, from policymakers' perspective, what by taking a couple of examples of innovations that you might have come across over years, can you talk about what considerations you have when you assess an innovation for, say, scale up or taking it across the nation, for example, in an RLM? What are the enablers and constraints that you think impede such scale up of innovations?
बहुत सरल क्वेश्चन पूछा, थैंक यू. इनोवेशन अर्थात नवाचार, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. किंतु अगर हम सिस्टम्स में देखें समझें, गोइंग इनटू द पार्लेंस व्हाट डॉक्टर कोचर टॉक्स अबाउट, आई थिंक लेट मी गो टू एन इकोनॉमिस्ट, मिस्टर पी शुम्पी, इफ यू आर अवेयर ऑफ. उन्होंने कहा था that if you want to an economy to grow, there has to have to be innovation, and there is a large theory which talks about innovation per se. शायद वही चीज किसी न किसी रूप में एनआरएलएम में भी परिलक्षित होती है. पहली चीज जो समझ में आती है इनोवेशन को, मैं समझता हूँ that it is actually unified और अ काइंड ऑफ क्रिएटिव डिस्ट्रक्शन. क्या चीज़ हम कर रहे थे और उसे हम अब किस नए तरीके से या किस सलीके से करना चाहते हैं. आई विल टेक एन एग्जाम्पल. सबसे पहले हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस को अगर देखते हैं तो एनआरएलएम ने शुरुआत की थी एसएचजी सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स, और उसका बहुत अच्छा डायग्राम बनता था एसएचजी वीओ सीएलएफ. एसएचजी वीओ तक ही सीमित था, बट over a period of time there came in CLF, कुछ learnings जो फील्ड से आई, and based on that CLF का अरीना भी बढ़ाया गया. then अगर उसमें फील्ड लेवल लर्निंग्स देखते हैं, सिर्फ CLF को ही मैं कोट करता हूँ इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ NRLM. एक प्रोग्राम आया स्टार्टअप विलेज एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप प्रोग्राम. इट वॉज मच बिफोर द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मॉडल CLF केम इन. तो उसमें आया कि हमें जो पैसा ऐसा देना है या किसी को मॉनिटर करने के लिए स्ट्रांग करना है, इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज करना है अपने सिस्टम्स को, तो लेट्स हैव NCLF, नोडल CLF. सो दीज वर द लर्निंग्स विच केम फ्रॉम द फील्ड इटसेल्फ कि हमें खुद नहीं करना. अगर हमने कम्युनिटी को कहा है दे आर द किंग एंड द क्वींस, सो वी वांट दैट ओनरशिप not only goes to them, even the management goes to them. So that kind of creative destruction is what NRLM has been doing and working on. इसी तरह से अगर मैं institutions breakups देखूं, we are talking about, I recall somewhere we were in Hyderabad, तो producer groups का concept किसी state specific ने बोला. तो उन्होंने कहा हमारे यहाँ प्रोड्यूसर ग्रुप्स होते हैं और इनमें इस तरह का काम होता. सो हाउ डू यू इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज दैट? देन I'm happy to share that it took almost 4-5 years when that was institutionalized based on learnings of such 2-3 states, Odisha to be specific. तो हमारे पास पीजी वाला कॉन्सेप्ट स्प्रेड हुआ. सो व्हेन यू से दैट हाउ डू यू प्रायोरिटाइज इनोवेशंस, इट्स बेसिकली व्हाट हैज कम अप फ्रॉम द grassroots, what our teams have done, what kind of learnings have come from them, उसको हम कैसे एक तरीके से पॉलिसी में लाके सलीके से कर सकते हैं. अभी बैठे बैठे चरण जी सर हैं, ही गेव एन आइडिया, मैं चुरा के यहीं बोल देता हूँ. ही सेड फेलियर्स विल बी देयर. तो NRLM इज एन ओपन फोरम जहाँ पे फेलियर्स हमारे आने ही आने हैं. इफ यू आस्क मी, हमने जब प्रोड्यूसर कंपनीज का कॉन्सेप्ट शुरू किया था टू स्केल अप, पहली प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी केम समवेयर इन श्योपुर ऑन NTFP. उसमें 5,000 लोग होंगे, बड़ा होगा, एंड कॉन्सेप्ट वाज वाइब्रेंट. इनोवेशन वाज numbers from 200, 300, 500 to 5,000. So this is how NRLM changed the definition of producer company to producer enterprise. We'll call them that it is a larger institution. So prioritize क्या करना था उस concept को. कंपनी जरूर फेलियर में रही होगी, but the concept evolve. So it's a 3-4 way strong strategy which NRLM has adopted. कुछ 2-3 बिंदु और आते हैं. If I recall the terms of Schumpeter when he talks about innovation, मुझे ध्यान आ रहा है somewhere in rough, उन्होंने कुछ 5 बिंदु कहे थे. One he talked about scalability, one he said bringing in new products, then he talked about markets. So इस तरह के जो 3-4 चीजें हैं हमारे पास. अगर हम आज की डेट में रिवर्स जाते हैं तो इफ़ यू कुड रिकॉल, मॉर्निंग में एक सेक्रेटरी सर बोले थे कि हमारे लिए मार्केट्स एक चैलेंज है. एक्चुअली में मार्केट्स इज नॉट अ बिग चैलेंज, मार्केटिंग इज अ लार्जर चैलेंज. शायद वो डॉक्टर कोचर की स्टडी में भी आया था व्हेन शी मेंशन्ड अबाउट 3 वीक्स. 3 हमारी जो कमियां उन्होंने बताई थी कि हमारे पास इंस्टीट्यूशन स्ट्रक्चर में ये गैप है, हमारे HR स्ट्रक्चर में ये गैप है, वहां पे डिमांड कम है, मींस वी हैव वीक डिमांड एंड देयरफॉर वी आर नॉट एबल टू क्रिएट मार्केट्स. सो वीक मार्केट्स का हम इस चीजों को देखते हैं. सो व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड इज कि हमारे पास अब वो समय है जहां NRLM एक तरफ तो प्रायोरिटाइज कर रहा है अपने सिस्टम्स को, व्हाट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द फील्ड, बट अदर वे राउंड जो वहाँ अब जो समय है, व्हाट यू सेड कि आगे क्या सोचते देखते हैं, कुछ चीज़ें हम बॉटम अप अप्रोच के बजाय कुछ टॉप डाउन भी आनी पड़ेंगी, बिकॉज बाजार इज नॉट व्हाट वी एज अ गवर्नमेंट और द कम्युनिटी सेज. कुछ पॉइंट रिकॉलिंग व्हाट द स्टडी मेंशन्ड कि 60% ऑफ गेहूं जो है, 60% गेहूं हमारा लोकल मार्केट्स में ही जाता है. बहुत अच्छी बात है, लोकल मार्केट्स में जाता है, लेकिन एक थॉट प्रोसेस ये भी है कि लोकल मार्केट्स का जो हमने सामान बेचा है वो हम ऐसे ही बेच देते हैं, उसमें क्वालिटी, उसमें सिस्टम्स, जिसे मैं मार्केटिंग शब्द कहूँगा, ब्रांडिंग हो, ये सब चीज़ें जो हैं ये हमारे पास अब लर्निंग के रूप में आ रही हैं, विच it's an important part which essentially is required. Another learning which comes, I recall, is that there are some cyclical patterns जो हमें देखने समझने की जरूरत है. ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ दिस 15-year जर्नी ऑफ NRLM, हमारा फर्स्ट फेज था 3-4 साल का, हम खुद ही सेट हो रहे थे. आई एम वेरी कैंडिडली एक्सेप्टिंग, हम सेट हो रहे थे, इंस्टीट्यूशंस नहीं सेट हो रहे थे. हम जाके समझाते थे. व्हेन वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल केम इन कि यहाँ से लेकर वहाँ तक पूरी ट्रेन गई, उसको लेके वो एक्चुअली में ट्रेन CRPC गई थी, वॉज एन एग्जाम्पल, लेकिन हम सेट हो रहे थे कि ये वर्क कैसे करेगा सिस्टम. सो सिस्टम्स वर बीइंग एस्टैब्लिश बेस लेवल. सेकेंड केम इन, इंस्टीट्यूशंस आए, उनको सजाना, संवारना, देखना, आगे बढ़ना. लेकिन अब जो नेक्स्ट चीज़ें हम अपने इनोवेशंस में या improvisations चाहिए या हमें destructive जो analysis भी करना पड़ेगा, because we're talking about M&D. There is a need now that we need to look forward कि हमारे को third level में इन institutions को कैसे scalable, sustainable, उन all these contexts हमारे को कुछ ना कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा. And last but not the least, हर उसमें बात आई है कि it has to be ह्यूमन ड्रिवन बंदे चाहिए लेकिन डिजिटल इंक्लूसिवनेस चाहिए. तो आई थिंक दीज आर फ्यू इनोवेशन और इनोवेटिव थिंग्स विच वी हैव ड्रॉन फ्रॉम द फील्ड, ट्राई टू इम्प्लीमेंट एज अ पॉलिसी लेवल, और इनको हम कैसे आगे लेके जाएंगे वो एक मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट अब दिखने लगा है. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us a very holistic perspective on how you and government think of innovations and scale up. My next question is to Anirban. We have spoken about digital tools, platforms since morning, and how do you see them in helping address, I mean, how do you see them help address these challenges that just Raman sir spoke about, innovations like scaling them up, there are failures. How could digital tools help?
Before I come to your question, innovations mein, I think since morning we are talking, NRLM has a long list of from its preamble itself, that the fact that it looks at poverty in a multidimensional lens, looking at creating institutions rather than directly attempting to go and solve for poverty. If you start listing as a government program, it has a massive list of innovations which has happened from day one. And that what Charanjit sir was also talking, that has been built on another 15 years or 20 years of civil society and several donor investments which have done that innovative work. It was part of the first self-help groups, were actually part of the IRDP program, where IRDP, when they were thinking of reinventing IRDP, there was a study which was done in Alwar and another one in Madurai and another one in Karnataka. So there were 3 organizations which were involved, which came up with those ideas in late 80s. So what I'm saying is that when we look at innovation, first let us see what are already the list of innovation which we have been able to take to scale. And there is a lot of learning in that, starting from these conversations which happened bottom up, and hundreds and thousands of CRPs going from undivided AP across the country. And I was amazed, and I remember we had long conversations and debates with the erstwhile joint secretary at that time, and we had thought it can never happen that a Telugu speaking person goes to Pakur in Jharkhand, and there is one translation happening to Hindi, Telugu to Hindi, and Hindi to Santali, again Santali back to Hindi. But human connections are far beyond the language. And the SHG ecosystem, which was when only the civil society was working, it was just a small handful. And Madhu is sitting here. Pradhan used to be the largest at that time, having about 5 lakh, 4.5, 5 lakh SHG members. But from there, for it to go to 10 crore, there's immense lot of learning that how innovations can get to scale. Now, in that, one of the biggest unlock is actually on the digital spine. And I must admit, the potential is far beyond. We have been able to do we have reached a particular level, but in the next phase of engagement, I think once the LocOS becomes fully active, we have the transaction data for the 10 crore women, ability to unlock their credit histories through that. So there is an immense world of potential which is there. We are at the, what do you say, we have created some basic foundational stuff. Much more needs to be done, and to whatever extent we have been able to reach has been on the back of some digital engagement. I keep on telling my colleagues who work very closely with the NRLM ecosystem, most of the indicators are input type of indicators, but we are all interested in the impacts. So like the Lakpati Didi program, so we had an interesting way to deal with it. We asked that let the Didi herself report that I am a Lakpati, so you don't get into the M&E trap of, you know, wo Lakpati hui ki nahi hui. If she is declaring that I am 1 lakh plus, then we accept. But there's a whole bunch of work which requires on the digital spine, which help us look through the pathways, which the earlier panel also talked about, that unless we know what are the pathways, we cannot accelerate. Say Lakpati ban rahi hai, पर क्या चीज़ का अनलॉक से वो लखपति बन रही है? इज इट द पब्लिक कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट विच इज लीडिंग टू लखपति? इज इट द डेट कैपिटल फ्लोज विच आर देयर? इज इट द मार्केट लिंकेज? इज इट द स्किलिंग विच इज देयर? व्हाट इज contributing how much? Now these type of stuff, moment we have a far more robust digital architecture and possibly a AI layer on top of that, we will get real time insights which then the decision makers can immediately convert into policy insight. So there's a lot of potential, but my sense is we are at very early days on that.
Thanks, Anirban. My next question is to Sudhaji. I mean, you have worked for decades with rural women, and as Anirban just said, that NRLM came from a lot of groundwork in decades prior to that. So, moving forward, I mean, what kind of innovations do you think best support? I mean, not just based on your experience so far, what kind of innovations best support women in achieving and unlocking their potential? And going back to the NRLM core document, that unleash that innate capability of moving out of poverty.
Thank you. I think the pace at which the readiness of the women is to grow, and then the exposures which they get. I think that was mentioned earlier also in the morning, that seeing other possibilities makes the process faster, and especially seeing role models around them also unleashes it much faster, which we saw even in the CRP. But earlier, our same experience, that one lady ready to go out to 3-4 villages out of her, this thing itself was motivating other women. Yes, if she can go out, I can also move and create awareness among others. So there, I see the other possibility, as we were talking of the capacity issue in the morning, and I see the possibility where there's a lot of experience in the field through NRLM also now, and a combination with the academic institutions. Our first program which we evolved was with the Open University in Nasik. It's in the, because one was the need for the local language, the programs to be in local language. And it was a very interesting experience of field workers working with academicians and evolving the program, the design of the program and the certificate course. And what women appreciated best after that program was that certification made them eligible for other college courses. So it was the equivalence this received. So many women who had the desire to study had to leave earlier. So now this gave them an opportunity to say, okay, now we are also going to the college and getting certified. So I think that equivalence possibility of further education. And I think with the digital possibilities and the hub you were talking of in the morning, can we think of number of courses which will be available, women-friendly at their level? Because one of the constraints which women have is going for a residential program for many days. So building up online skills for programs and some face-to-face. A combination is required. But getting over that fear of dealing with digital will also help for more in the educational field. And the desire is there and women are coming forward for that. Other experimentation, and which is part of NRLM now, we were seeing that women had issues and domestic violence issues, and then women from among themselves becoming counselors and guiding other women is now part of the Gender Resource Center now. And the next innovation which is coming, we are seeing these women also sitting in the police station. So I think, and the police are very happy that they said that we find it difficult talking with women and having a sort of a good communication dialogue with them. And this gender jankars are very easily, they can, understand them, open them up and explore solutions with them. So I see this possibility also of not the Gender Resource Center and the police stations coming, more collaboration between these two folks to address domestic violence issues, and more convergence with the Department of Women and Child to think of CLF as Seva Pradata. So because we see the current structure, DCW is more at this district level. They don't have any institution at the block or CLF level to address the domestic violence issue. So this connection, collaboration, I see is a possibility in future to take it forward. Today morning when I was looking at the presentation, two thoughts came to me. I was reflecting back on which federations became sustainable. And so the combination of those which were villages which were smaller and bigger villages together, there we could see in that area the federations become more sustainable because the credit absorption was there in certain areas. So this combination of smaller and bigger villages, or should we think of federations at a different level? I was just talking today morning about just for schools it's happening, where smaller villages, it's happened recently in Vada, where 8 to 10 different smaller schools, they have integrated at a central space, and then better teaching facilities are available. So in the context of SHG federations, what are the services which we can think of? That is the ideation which is going on. What can we think at a higher level where women, as you talked of the Women Empowerment Hub. So for what type of villages, what level will be appropriate is something we'll have to evolve at that level. And in terms of the financial part, I was just talking with the Jharkhand Anil Bhai, that can we think, we are seeing that the SHG, VO and the CLF is processing the credit, both the demand and overseeing it. So the CLF, shouldn't the CLF get a direct benefit from the bank linkages rather than the individual bank Sakhi? So the CLF becomes a sustainable institution. A portion directly coming to our experience has been that Federation bank linkage has been effective, so that the whole process of the institutional mechanism is recognized, and the Federation gets, the CLF gets the income from the process also. So that is another possibility of making it sustainable. We are seeing that most of the income is through interest income. Just now in the study also we saw that the CLF is getting most of the income as such. And over a period of time, the savings of the group, we are seeing in the older federation, it's the savings of the group which is the main resource of their own income. So that is the future. When we are thinking of the future, how do we work on the savings product is also. These are the thoughts which come to me out of my experience.
Thank you so much, Sudhaji. Devki, transitioning to your role as a funder, you see a lot of early stage innovations all the time, I'm sure. How do you decide which ones to support, and what lessons you draw from both, what lessons you have drawn from your experiences locally and globally as well. I mean, something out of India, example, some innovation addressing these challenges would be good to hear as well.
Thanks so much, Rohan. Great, the mic is working. I was worried about that. Also, really tough act to follow these three legends of this work, but I'll hope I can answer your question with some insight. I'd like to begin with a little bit of there is this quest, especially as funders, to focus on the next best thing and the new idea. But this is also a moment of reflection. What the NRLM ecosystem has accomplished in the last 15 years is unheard of, right? It is that confluence of grassroots ideas, with the government driving it and a little bit of philanthropic support. And of course, at the heart of it all, the aspiration of women and communities that has done exemplary things for women in terms of just, what we're doing is really difficult, right? We're trying to shift norms on who has agency, who has power, can have an income. And this work takes time. And I think there is a moment to sort of congratulate the work that people have done. To answer your question on what are the early stage, how do we think about investing and our investment thesis a little bit, the key question we often ask is does this idea have the DNA for scale and systems change? Now, breaking that down, what does that mean? At the first level for us, does this build upon the collective agency of the communities that it is looking to serve? Because if there is none of that, then, if the community isn't interested, then your solution is not going to work, right? At the second level, what is core for us as Co-Impact is the centering of inclusion, equity, and women's leadership, both in the programming, but also at the non-profit level, but also the government systems level, right? How is women's decision-making making its way into the halls of power? And the third is on more sort of, is there a sustainability plan? What is the line of sight for exit? And that often looks like is the idea building on or taking advantage of existing budget lines, incentives, programming and government and market direction for it to last beyond program funding, right? Philanthropy is here for some time. We're not here for a very long time. So that sustainability lens and plan for an exit has to be built in, and at least some thinking about that has to be built in. In terms of your question, second part about the lessons, what we found is that the early stage innovations that do not, that focus only on the delivery but not on the learning and adaptation, right, where there is an absence of feedback loops, etc., tend to fail and fail fast. That building that evidence lens and desire for evidence is quite clear at sort of the early stage. And I have to say, on the lessons from the global piece of it, there's nothing like this anywhere else in the world, right? The lessons have to go from here to everywhere else. Then we can speak of the use of AI in certain places, but again, that contextual framing that it would require for it to work in India is very different from what it would be in Nigeria or, for instance, our work in Indonesia. And last, like I said previously, this work takes time and therefore requires a fair bit of patient capital. And this is my sort of evangelizing for other philanthropies a little bit, but trust-based philanthropy where you support your civil society partners to work with governments to deliver on the outcomes we're after is the way to go.
Thank you for such a complete answer on that very tricky question. We heard about what has worked, how NRLM has evolved over time from all these innovations. Now let's switch gears to thinking about what could we do for NRTP and NRLM moving forward. So again, I'll ask questions to each of you. Raman sir, if you think about next phase of NRLM 2.0, and building from where we are, building from all these innovations of IFC, PGs, producer companies, model CLFs, layering of interventions. How can these programs become more inclusive and resilient because when we talk about innovations and then scaling up of them, there's always some support required, but how to make them sustainable over time, and what role could these financing models, we also heard about blended finance models in an RLM for credit linkages and all. How could these play a role in that resilience and inclusiveness?
थैंक यू. तुम्हारे सारे प्रश्न मेरे लिए कठिन क्यों हैं? Inclusiveness, innovation, scalability. Anyway, so I'll go back again to the same traditional economist Schumpeter, who mentioned in one of his last lines, जो उनके 5 बिंदु थे, उसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि हमें ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर को भी चेंज करना है अगर इनोवेशन लाना है. तो जो आप इंक्लूसिवनेस कह रहे हैं, आई अंडरस्टैंड कि मुझे कहीं ना कहीं हमारा जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल सिस्टम है, स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं, उसमें वी नीड लॉट ऑफ इम्प्रोवाइजेशन. इंस्टेड ऑफ कॉलिंग ओनली IBCB इंक्लूसिव, सोशल इंक्लूसिव, समथिंग हमें HR इंक्लूसिवनेस के बारे में बात करनी होगी, क्योंकि एंड उसकी डेफिनेशन भी वाइड करनी होगी. समवेयर व्हेन वी वर पार्ट ऑफ वन HR कमिटी वी डिस्कस्ड कि हमारा HR क्या होना चाहिए. HR मीन्स हम केवल सरकारी बंदों को लेंगे, क्या हम कंसल्टेंट्स को लेंगे, क्या हम कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल को लेंगे, क्या हम किसी सोसाइटी या किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लेंगे, या हम हो सकता है कुछ आजकल जो मशीनी बंदे आ गए हैं, ह्यूमनॉइड्स, हम उनको भी इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हैं. मीन्स इट हैज टू बी वाइडन and quality, such kind of inclusiveness is required to make that disruptive change जो आज समाज मांग रहा है and what they are looking at for NRLM. That is one important point. Second is, when we talk about inclusiveness, you have rightly mentioned कि क्या हम inclusiveness की definition बदलें. I understand कि we have worked very well as far as society's inclusion in livelihoods is concerned. हम बड़े फक्र से बोलते हैं 10 करोड़. मुझे लगता है हम अभी कम बोलते हैं क्योंकि हम 50 करोड़ लोगों से जुड़े हैं as far as households are concerned, and it's 1/3 हिंदुस्तान की आबादी. It's a huge number. लेकिन उससे आगे ले जाने के लिए, केटर करने के लिए, पहला जो अगला बिंदु आता है, that I understand is जो कल भी कहीं बात हुआ था या सुबह भी हुआ था, डिजिटल इंक्लूसिवनेस. जब अमूल या इस तरह की ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एनिमल टैगिंग करते हैं, मिल्क लेते हैं या अपने सिस्टम्स को केटर करते हैं, जैसे वी हैव एनिमल आधार, हम उनकी बीमारी को भी कॉपी करते हैं और उस पर नज़र रखते हैं कि हमारे पास गलत प्रोडक्ट ना आ जाए, और साथ साथ हम प्रोडक्टिविटी पे ध्यान रख रहे हैं. तो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे को इस डिजिटल इंक्लूसिवनेस को थोड़ा सा और वाइडन करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज वन अनदर पॉइंट व्हिच इज कमिंग. नेक्स्ट मुझे ये समझ में आता है कि पार्टनरशिप इंक्लूसिवनेस. वी ऑलवेज, एटलीस्ट आई ब्रैग ऑफ कि मैं यहाँ 3-4 साल से हूँ दिल्ली में, एंड वी हैव डन सम 70-80 पार्टनरशिप्स. बट उसकी एक्चुअल यूटिलिटी क्या है एंड हाउ आई वांट टू वाइडन इट. जब हम इस तरह के फोरम पे जाते हैं, हमें बहुत सारे नए लोग नए नए तरह के काम करते हुए दिखते हैं, और जो उनको भी हमारी ज़रूरत है, हमें भी उनकी ज़रूरत है. सो इंक्लूसिवनेस ओवरऑल डजंट मीन्स कि कोई दीदी हमारी समूह में आ जाए और उसे हम वित्तीय सहयोग दे दें, या फिर हम उसे कोई सिंपल हेल्प कर दें कि वो GRC में काम करें. वो एक पहला पार्ट था. नेक्स्ट पार्ट हमें शायद थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ के देखना पड़ेगा. 2 बिंदु इंक्लूसिवनेस के मेरे को और समझ में आते हैं, वो शायद हम ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. दैट आई अंडरस्टैंड इज भोजन को लेके या न्यूट्रिशन वाला पार्ट है. खाना तो मिल रहा है, पर वो समय पे मिल रहा है या नहीं, वो हमारे चेंजिंग हैबिट्स में अभी कहीं नहीं आया है. एंड इट नीड्स अ फर्दर बिग पुश विच वाज मेंशन्ड related to CLFs, but I think that also needs a typical push. लास्ट इंक्लूसिवनेस आई अंडरस्टैंड एज लाइवलीहुड्स में अगर हमें इंक्लूसिवनेस या इम्प्रोवाइजेशन चाहिए तो वी नीड टू मूव टुवर्ड्स नॉट ओनली जहां हम शब्द एक कॉमन यूज कर रहे हैं, इट्स अ स्लैंग ऑल्सो, engendering livelihood, something like that, but I understand उसे अगर हम engendering businesses करेंगे, हमें शब्द भी चेंज करने की ज़रूरत लग रही है अभी, तो हमारी इस inclusiveness और sensitivity को थोड़ा help मिलेगी. So inclusion itself, what we understand for NRLM is widening the entire scope and gamut of activities what NRLM is doing. As of now हम कुछ borders पे उन चीज़ों को काम कर रहे हैं. Last but not the least is market inclusion, जिसमें ये समझाने की ज़रूरत है कि मार्केट का आशय क्या है. सामान बेचना या बाजार में पहुंचना या उससे भी आगे बढ़ना. Few days ago we had a presentation from one of the Janak of NRLM. He was talking about global CRPs. तो हम बातें तो कर रहे हैं कि हमारा प्रोडक्ट चला जाए, बट ओवरऑल what was mentioned in the morning, 60% is sold in the local markets. But when we see at the larger market, हमारा अभी तक जो मेरे पास डेटा शायद 5-6 करोड़ रुपए का हमारे पास एक्सपोर्ट डेटा होगा, एंड दैट इज नथिंग बट कहीं से कुछ आ गया होगा. हाउ डू वी इम्प्रोवाइज एंड इम्प्रूव सच प्रोसेसेस related to marketing of products? Then I think you asked about the financial part, the new products, what has to be come in. Financial inclusion में हमारी टीम काफ़ी उसमें शिद्दत से काम कर रही है, एंड दे आर ट्राइंग कि क्या हम लोन समय से और जितना चाहिए उतना पहुंचा पा रहे हैं. एंड फॉर्चुनेटली और अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई एडेड कि अगर मुझे लोन चाहिए तो मैं बटन दबाऊंगा, मेरे को 2 मिनट में मिल जाएगा, बिकॉज दे हैव माई क्रेडिट रेटिंग एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. क्या हम दीदी को 48 घंटे में पैसा पहुंचा सकते हैं? Somewhere that kind of thought is being going on कि how we improve that kind of lending processes and reaching out to the communities, making them not only कि fund मिल जाए लेकिन समय से भी मिले और बहुत ज़्यादा उनके वो अंगूठे वगैरह लगवाने की ज़रूरत ना पड़े. अगर आधार enabled गवर्नमेंट ने किया है, मैं भी अंगूठा लगाता हूँ, मेरे पास पैसा आ जाता है. आधार कार्ड पे our drivers, with due respect, he wanted to have a mobile phone. उसने आधार दिया, जो फाइनेंसिंग कंपनी थी उसने हमारे से चिट्ठी लिया और उसको पैसा दे दिया. मीन्स process is there, but how we can reach it far and wide is important. Another important point of financial inclusion is you talked about products, blended financing or other kind of products. Yes, but those things will come when we as a private partners, as she was saying, philanthropic organizations will not be there for always. But initially, क्या वो इस lending processes को improve करने में help कर सकते हैं? If I'm not wrong, there is an organization called Reimagining or something like that. उनका $1 billion USD का business है, जिसमें से 40 to 45% is in India, और वो सारा का सारा पैसा private sector में जाता है. It means हमारे यहाँ अगर ये डिमांड बाजार में है फॉर द प्राइवेट सेक्टर अर्बन एरियाज में, कहीं ना कहीं उसकी अगर 10% भी रूरल में होगी तो वो पैसा हमारे दीदियों के पास जा सकता है. लेकिन हमें वो सिस्टम्स भी डेवलप करने होंगे और प्राइवेट सेक्टर को भी आगे आना होगा. नॉट सेइंग दैट कि अरे नहीं ये सरकारी कार्यक्रम है. आई विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, इट इज नॉट that kind of sarkari कार्यक्रम. It is an open partnership, partner inclusive program. That is why we all are here. ये हमारे लिए बहुत important है. Financial inclusion में एक important part है इंश्योरेंस को लेके. इंश्योरेंस भी इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स, ह्यूमन इंश्योरेंस के लिए हमारे पास गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम्स हैं. But having said that, multitude of companies are there. If financial literacy from every person's mouth, ये केवल कार्य हमारा नहीं है, सरकार का नहीं है कि हम फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी इंश्योरेंस की तरह. इफ इट गोज फ्रॉम योर माउथ ऑल्सो, दोज हु आर वर्किंग विद द ग्रास रूट लीडर्स, आई थिंक दैट इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट. एंड मोर ऑन दैट, इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स जो हमारे को अब चाहिए होंगे बियॉन्ड द लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, शायद प्रोडक्ट इंश्योरेंस चाहिए होगा, रिस्क इंश्योरेंस चाहिए होगा, जो और जगहों पे भी उपलब्ध हैं. उनको हम कैसे स्ट्रेंथन कर सकते हैं। एंड इसी में ही जो FI वाला पार्ट है, व्हाट यू मेंशन कि नए प्रोडक्ट्स क्या आएंगे, कैसे होंगे, उसमें क्लेम मैनेजमेंट इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट। क्लेम लेना एक अलग बात है, दैट इज प्रोसेस ओरिएंटेड, उसे तो हमें प्रोसेस करना ही है, इट विल टेक इट्स ड्यू डिलिजेंस, ड्यू जेन्युइननेस। लेकिन अगर उसका मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम हम कहीं फैसिलिटेट करेंगे, सो दीज आर फ्यू 4-5 points which are coming up as far as FI is concerned. And then इन्हीं में ही जब हम एग्रीकल्चर की बात करते हैं, या फिर बिकॉज वन ऑफ द की कंपोनेंट्स विद इन NRLM इज फैसिलिटेटिंग लाइवलीहुड्स थ्रू फार्म कंपोनेंट एंड द नॉन फार्म कंपोनेंट। तो जब हम उसमें देखते हैं तो वहाँ पे किस तरह से ब्लेंडेड फाइनेंसेस कैन कम, इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट। अभी हमने IFC वाले कंपोनेंट में देखा दैट 6 to 7 एंटरप्राइजेज आर कमिंग इन। इट्स एक्चुअली एन अचीवमेंट। अभी जो हम लोग बैठे हैं इस साइड में, इट वाज आई ओपनिंग फॉर माय टीम आल्सो कि सर ये 6-7 एंटरप्राइजेस कहाँ से आ रहे हैं। मैंने कहा भाई हम में से कोई नहीं गया था, भाई गए तो बाहर के बंदे थे, उन्होंने देखा कि 6-7 आ रहे हैं, लेकिन अब हमारे को जरूरत है कि उस 6-7 एंटरप्राइजेस को आगे क्या चाहिए। दैट इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट कि वो पैसा और उनको काम करने के लिए पैसा हम कैसे दीदी तक पहुंचा पाएंगे, क्योंकि उनके लिए हर चीज नहीं है। उनको ये भी अच्छा लगता है कि मैं पहले 1 लाख रुपया कमाती थी, आज मैं 4 लाख रुपया कमा रही हूं, अभी मैंने 4 बंदे रखे हैं, पर मुझे सोचना है या हम विचार कर रहे हैं कि मेरे पास 100 बंदे रखने वाली भी दीदी होनी चाहिए जो उसके पास काम कर रहे हैं, 100-125 नहीं तो दिल्ली या भोपाल या किसी बड़ी सिटी में जाओ तो कोई जो चाट का ब्रांड होता है या छोला भटूरे का ब्रांड होता है, वहाँ 24-25 लोग चारों तरफ कुछ ना कुछ बांट रहे होते हैं। आई थिंक अभी मेरी दीदी का लेवल शायद वहाँ नहीं पहुँचा है। So that kind of funding business innovations is what NRLM is looking at, and I'm happy to share from this platform itself that recently we had a very deliberative discussion on this only, and the teams were at loggerheads. And of course, we'll have your ideas therein. Let's see how things move up. Thank you.
Thank you, Raman sir. My question now is to both Sudhaji and Anirban regarding, say, if you have to think of an innovation that has an opportunity in the coming years for NRLM, what would that innovation be? I mean, okay to think.
So, the next phase of NRLM, the national team is deeply engaged. And I think few days back till 9 or 10 in the night, madam and others were discussing on what is the next phase. So there is a whole range of issues, because this whole conversation around innovation which we are doing on the panel, it is almost like innovation for the unicorn. Meta ka innovation kya hai? What is the next gen for Meta? It's like that kind of question. It's not a early stage idea. This idea is also already a full blown, massive elephant which is on the run. Now on that we are looking at what are the additional things which one is looking. So, and there's a whole bunch of things, but for I will pick 3 things which I think are most important for us to focus going forward. A, Madam presented today in the thematic presentations, the model CLS. So already the data is showing that the initial belief which we had, that if you invest in institutions, it unlocks a whole bunch of things from social capital to actual, public capital. There's a whole growth which is happening. Now, the challenge is model CLS today are what? About 6,000, 7,000. But the total number of CLFs about 35,000, and as we create more CLFs for the 10 crore women, and the number of women are also increasing. So this itself is a big issue, that how can we very rapidly, learning from our first phase of working with the model CLFs, and there's a whole protocol, structure, data systems, everything is in place. How do we very rapidly go to the 30,000? Number one. Number two is that finally these institutions are on the way to solve for several things. So the very first item is we are a national rural livelihood mission. So and interestingly, in the first decade, the livelihood numbers were pretty small. If just pre-COVID, if we talk about, it would be about 10 to 12%, 13% of the livelihood. Now, those numbers in the annual action plans have crossed more than 2/3, is more than 70% in aggregate, and several states will have it maybe even more than 80%. So the big question is that as we are wanting to ramp up the entire livelihood portfolio, debt capital alone is not. So how do we unlock very large sums of public capital into it? And VPRP already being rolled out across the country. More than 5 crore women have participated, and there were about 3 crore odd individual activities which came up, which is approximately, if you put a value to it, it will be in the order of 12 to 15,000 crores of demand, which is getting aggregated in the VPRP. Some states, I was looking at the LinkedIn post, which she put in, I think yesterday, like Assam has completed 100% of the VPRP. तो वो ना हम expectation ground में बहुत बढ़ा रहे हैं. अब unless we convert that into public capital flow for those VPRPs to be unlocked, this whole thing will fritter away. So that's the second part, that how do we leverage the institutions on the ground, working very closely with the district and block administrations to unlock public capital to fructify the plans which are coming. And the third element, which having 10 crore women coming together itself, by itself, whether we intend it or not intend it, it has unlocked a massive potential for the gender space. And Sudhaji has already talked about it. How do we partner with the police on one side, WCD on the other side? Now women are coming out. जो चुप्पी तोड़ो जो बोलते रहते थे हम लोग 30 साल से, now women are coming out and talking about violence, talking about domestic violence. There are issues of, as the VPRPs are happening, people are talking about safe villages, the mobility within local areas. These are natural issues which are coming, which whether triggered by the system or not triggered by the system, requires a response. So the third point I would say is, the way we are doing convergence around unlocking public capital, for this whole business of gender related engagement, women elected representatives in panchayats, domestic violence, there's a bunch of issues related to gender related spaces which we have triggered just by the fact that women are coming together. So this requires a response, very active engagement. Few places like TRI along with the state SRLM in Madhya Pradesh has already triggered it. There are multiple ministries which have come together to solve for these issues, but it needs to be done at a much wider level. And the way the Honorable Prime Minister has talked about Lakpati Didi, we would want political leadership to talk about this whole convergence which is required for unlocking the gender space, and it is a once in a lifetime opportunity which we have. Thanks.
Thanks, Anirban. Sudhaji, the same question. If you think of future, what innovations?
I think Anirban has spelled out most of what I would like to say, but at the same time, I would like to express my gratitude. And here at this time, that when this was being designed, we couldn't imagine that this would grow so much, and so feel so grateful to all those. मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि जब ये बात सोची जा रही थी NRLM के बारे में, उसके ग्रुप में डिस्कशन हो रहे थे, तो ये इतना बढ़ेगा, इतने लोग इसमें सहभागी हो गए, इतने पार्टनर्स हो गए, ये हमने सोचा भी नहीं था. तो ये सोच के हमको, यानी ये देख के बहुत ही समाधान मिलता है. और उसकी एक वजह है कि बहनों ने खुद उसमें आगे जो पहल की, और नाबार्ड के स्टार्टिंग फेज में जो काम किया गया, अलग 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 संस्थाएं भी उससे जुड़ी हुई थी, वो बेसिक फाउंडेशन। और अभी गवर्नमेंट के अलग अलग ऑफिसर्स ने जिस ढंग से वो पूरे सिस्टम आगे ले गए, वो देख के एक बहुत ही मन में सुकून होता है कि इतने बड़े पैमाने पे वो बढ़ा है। तो अभी चैलेंज जो है, जल्दी कैसे सीखे एक दूसरे से, उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी का क्या उपयोग हो सकता है, और फेस टू फेस भी रहे और टेक्नोलॉजी, दोनों का इंटीग्रेशन बेस्ट ऑप्शन क्या रहेगा। और इंटीग्रेटेड सोच जो है कि जैसे कि आज वो पंचायत राज के बारे में बोले कि ये हम कैसे इंटीग्रेट करेंगे पंचायत के पूरे प्रोग्राम में, मुझे लगता है कि वो नेक्स्ट चैलेंज है। हम उसे कहते हैं कि गट्टे गाँव अटसाल, so from groups VOs to the village. So I think that recognition at that level is perhaps the next way to move forward also.
Thank you, Sudhaji. Devki, the last question is to you. And from your perspective, I mean, how can we make sure that these innovations consistently reach and benefit the people who are most marginalized? So what could we all together do, and what your experience says about it?
Thanks for that, Rohan. The risk that we face often when we design programming is on indexing for the average individual, right? That mean को मिल जाए सब कुछ, बाकी सबको अपने आप हो जाएगा। लेकिन NRLM के एक्सपीरियंस से ही पता है कि ये नहीं होता है। You have to keep the realities of the vulnerable in mind, whether that is one of gender, of caste, of location, of disability, and center that reality into your design. The second piece where I think reaching the marginalized is critical is that idea of working through systems rather than working around them. The idea is not to create parallel systems that reach the most marginalized, but how do you make the existing framework reach the groups that are left out? And frankly, public systems have the mandate to be equitable and reach the most vulnerable, and it is our job, therefore, to support them in that mission. The third piece is on sort of keeping the evidence and feedback loops active and alive. The aspirations of people and communities keep shifting. And if you lose track of what's happening on the ground, then your programming becomes stale and irrelevant. So building that in of constantly keeping learning of what's going on, I think is quite critical to keep the marginalized, keep their interests in the core. And I'll just end with inclusion sometimes and equity sometimes becomes this outcome measure, where you're looking at how many people of X caste got access to loans, etc. But really, what it needs to be a design principle on day one, right? Of how do you reach those that are completely on the margins and build it in from the start.
Thank you so much, Devki, and thank you all for your thoughtful reflections. Just to sum up, I think we did discuss about the potential of digital tools in addressing a lot of these challenges that we currently face, and making sure that every woman has access to skills, learning, opportunities, and digital can perhaps help solve that. We also heard the esteemed panelists talk about learning from women, learning from experiences and building from those experiences, and not just innovating in the meeting rooms. There's also a need for faster delivery of not just credit, but any intervention, so that we are not delaying access, and to ensure inclusiveness and equity there. I think the panel here is a good example of public-private partnership and how multiple organizations and kind of organizations can come together to address these challenges. I think Devki ended up with a very thoughtful reflection that the feedback loop and the learning loop needs to be constant. It's not something that we look at the end of a program, that whether it worked, whether this innovation worked or failed, whether you can scale it up or not. If we are able to scale it up, whether it's working as intended, it needs to be a continuous process, and that loop needs to keep going on, and we need to learn. So thank you so much everyone for those reflections.